Hey guys, we're back. Now you might be wondering why we're in Microsoft Edge, and I'll explain that. So basically, for the next stage of our project, what we want is an image to add to a little object. Now I'll show you, I'll definitely go through the steps of doing that. You might be thinking, well, he did talk about not touching much on the aesthetics, but there's just so much I can take with the aesthetics. So I'm going to show you how to make a good, clean background for your game, so that it looks like it's got a little bit of context to it. Now I found this by just doing an image search. I looked up space, and then my search tools, I specified that I wanted an image 1024 by 2048, which means that it's sort of the right shape that we want it for our own game, which, if you remember, looks a bit like this to give a mobile type feel. So we're going to go back to here. I've already imported this image, well, just saved it in the correct places, but I'll show you how to do that right now. So what you want to do is, when you found your image, just another thing I want to add too is I'm going to link this person's work in the description below, because I've seen their work and it's pretty amazing, and I feel like it'd be kind of trashy if I didn't give them a nice little comeuppance. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to right click, and this will be different with different browsers, but you know, right click, save picture, everyone can find that. Just wait for a second, and then you want to go to your project files. So I'm just gonna skim through here, some of this stuff, some of that stuff. Okay, so this is my bullets area for my game. This is my assets folder, and you see here it's got a materials folder. We don't really need to worry about that actually right now. I will just do that. And I've already saved it, but what you would do is just save here. I mean, I can do it here, and it would just be like, yeah, okay, you've already got it. Or maybe that was just a message, you can't do this because it's open right now, but I don't think that's the case. Anyway, just save it there, and then return to your game. That was a lot of explanation for something so simple. Okay, before we just slap this in here, because that's not how these things work, we're going to have to create an object. And if you remember, we go to the hierarchy, we go to create 3D object, and today we're going to go for a quad. Now let's take a look at this quad in our game view. That is kind of unfortunate. How about we take it to origin? You know, we should be able to see it properly, and it's not there. Now you'll probably know why you can't see it. Well, we'll definitely find out, to be honest. If I press the F key, look at that. So we've got a top-down camera, and the side of the quad is facing us, which means that we can't actually see it in the game view. So all we have to do, as we covered in the last lesson, is just to press input 90 there. Take a look at the game view. Yep, that's looking pretty decent, looking pretty good. Now we've got it at origin, which means that it's at the center, just like our camera is at the center of, is at origin itself, in terms of the X and Z axis, I believe. This quad is also at origin. We haven't messed around with the Y yet, because we won't have to do that for a little bit. But let's scale up. Right. Now that we've got our quad, we've got basically the canvas for our little image, or big image. Now what we can do by clicking on the image in the folders menu is just see all the information about the image. Now I'm not going to lie to you guys, some of the stuff that I see here eludes me, but basically what I like to just look at is the size of the image to make sure that when I do some extra stuff to it, which I will be doing later, the image will, you know, still retain its form. So we're going to take this image and we're going to drag it over. We can't do that in the game view. I sort of knew that, but it's just easier to do it like that. Okay, so we're going to drag this over and put it on here. That looks wonderful. That is a complete game. Thank you guys for watching. We've completed our bullet hell tutorial. No, we haven't. Because if we look at that, that doesn't look too great. The image is a little stretched. It's kind of strange. Like, what is this? This isn't really a background. I mean, maybe if we had Eagle Vision or something, we could play this game. But we're going to have to make some changes. So what are we going to do? Well, let's take a look at the resolution of this image first. Now, would you all agree that this is a 1:2 scale? 1024 by 2048. So that's 1:2. So let's go back to our quad and see what we can do about this. Well, if we scale by the x-axis by about 7, we can see it doesn't quite reach the edges. So I'm going to go with a nice comfortable 10. Now that reaches the edges. Now I'm going to scale it by the y-axis, and because we had a ratio of 1:2, what am I going to do? 1:2. 20. So that's looking alright. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So as you can see, the image has retained quite a bit of its form. Not all of it is in the view of the camera, due to the fact that the quad does come out a little bit. So if we just try to say make that a 9, make that an 8, let's see how close we can get with this. Okay, so if we make that 9 and make this 18, we still retain the form, but we don't get the bottom. That's alright. Everything's looking pretty decent, to be honest. So that is how we create a background. Now, one thing that you might notice is in the game view, it does look kind of flat. Now, I'm not talking about in terms of like texturing, because I'm not going to go into bitmapping or anything, but it's looking like a real, just, you know, piece of plastic with as you can see, I'm just sort of rotating my mouse around this area because it shines off a little bit. That's due to the directional light that we've left in the scene. So I'm going to get rid of that. And our scene is very dark. Now here's something we can do to remedy that. What we can do is we can click on the quad object. Now I'm not sure if I explained this before, but this is the inspector. I should have explained it before, yeah I did. This is the inspector, where you can change a lot of properties of this object. Now, I did miss out the fact that when I dragged this onto the quad, it made a new material for me, which was very nice. Unity does that. Made a new material for the object. Technically, I'm not quite sure what that does, but I just know that's a good thing, because we can do stuff like this. Now if we go down to shader on the inspector for the quad, and we just click on the drop down, we're given this menu. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go with unlit texture. Now when we click on this, this happens. It takes the image back to its sort of original state as we saw it on the internet. It's very bright, it's very full, kind of rich, instead of like dim as we had it when we left it on standard. So we're gonna leave that on, yeah, on unlit texture. So that is it for the background. Now, just as a little prelude to the next episode, I shall add a player, and it's going to be the most complicated part of the whole tutorial, so guys, you need to really pay attention for this. So I'm going to go to create, I'm going to go to 3D object, I'm going to click on sphere, and then I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, and take it to origin. There we go. And then I'm just going to leave it at that. Most complicated part of our tutorial, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. This time round we've been able to create a background. We've tampered with some of its shaders to make it look a little nicer. We've made sure that we do the original image some justice and not mess the resolution up too much. And we've added a player, which I shall take a look at right now. Oh no, there seems to be something wrong with our player. Now what might this be? Well, half of him, or her, is in our actual background. So all we do, as we did in the last tutorial, is just move our background down, which means that I might have to scale it on the edges a little bit. Yeah, so I'm just going to have to mess around with its scaling again. 12 by 24. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to pull that quad up a little bit. Just like that. To be honest, we should probably do this properly, so we're going to go to the, take this to 2. Nice round numbers. Hang on, did I just mess up? I think I did. Yeah, that was on right. Okay, take this to 2, so we have some good old rounder numbers. And then we're going to take this, its Y value, and we're going to take it down to, oh crap, we're going to take it down to -3 and leave it at that. And as we always do, we're going to go here, we're going to go to save scene, and we're going to click on that to make sure that we lose none of our work. So this is where we are at the moment. I'm not going to pretty up the player too much. I'll probably just scale that down and add some color to it in the next episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment about how much you enjoyed it maybe, and I'll see you guys later.